Hello and welcome to this very special edition of Forbes Let's Talk, the insurance edition. For this week we are doing a podcast ready for the Alarm conference taking place in Manchester on the 17th and 18th of June, and to mark that, and the theme of Alarm this year is Times Are Changing, so I've got three very special guests as a podcast panel today, because times are changing. These guys are the future of the insurance department. So joining me today I've got Sarah Davisworth from our Leeds office.
Hello.
And Natalie, Argent and Louise Goss from Defendant Insurance as well. Would you guys like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you do?
Sure. Well, as you said, I'm Sarah Davisworth, probably better known as Sid around these parts and by a lot of clients. I recently got promoted to partner, as you know.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Been at Forbes 20 years now, so it's all kind of quite poetic.
You can't. You're only 28, aren't you?
I know, it's not possible. Qualified.
Very young.
Yeah, qualified at 12. I specialise in general casualty work, so your bog standard highways kind of cases, but also more recent years I'm doing a lot of housing work, so housing conditions claims, but also a lot of PL and EL claims for housing clients.
Excellent. And your route into law was a little bit
unusual?
Different, yeah, unusual.
I think it's becoming more common, but I'm a member of the Chartered Institute of Legal Execs, or easily, probably shorter as SILEX. So I think I'm Forbes' first SILEX partner. So I didn't do the training contract route. I did a night course and qualified as a lawyer that way, and rose through the ranks in a different way.
How did you find that? Do you think?
I think it was a lot. It was hard work because I was working a full-time job whilst doing night college exams. I used to take off time for my exams. But I was also learning on the job, so in a strange way there was less pressure because I didn't have to get a training contract. I didn't have to compete with thousands of other people trying to get a training contract. So it was a nice alternative, and I like these days being able to give advice to younger members of staff who think, I might want to be a lawyer, but I don't know if I can afford to go to uni to do the degree and then do the LPC, and I kind of say, well, look at me.
Exactly, the inspiration.
I'm an alternative route.
And there are alternative routes to go down, which is great.
And I think SILEX is becoming more recognised as, equal to a solicitor, because it is equal. We're still qualified lawyers. I think a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I still used to get asked, but when are you going to become a solicitor? When are you going to do the next bit of your qualification? I'm like, well, I'm not. I'm qualified. I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
And now that I've got partnership, it kind of...
Exactly. 20 years experience under your belt and partnership, so amazing.
Exactly.
Excellent.
And that just proves there's nothing you can't do as a SILEX lawyer. Yeah, I qualified in the same way as Sarah. So I did, instead of the training contract and following the more traditional route, I like to think of it as more of a vocational
absolutely,
way of becoming qualified, and there's no limits on what you can do. You can still become a partner, district judge, coroner. So it's a good alternative.
Excellent. It's great to have you both on and sort of look at all the different range of options we've got, especially at this time of year when it's all graduate recruitment kicking off, and you guys are all helping me as well with that and all of my different jobs and where I'm out and about, so that's great. So you probably see all of us at law fairs at some, you'll get roped in, Sid, don't you worry. So you'll see that, and it's good to know that there's different options out there for people as well. So Louise, you've taken on the mantle, so tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
So I'm a senior associate in the social care and abuse team. So the work we do in the abuse team is very much, we do a lot of local authority work. We act on behalf of local authorities and insurers in respect of CSE cases, human rights issues. Deprivations of liberty is another area that seems to be growing at the moment. Adult social care is another growing area at the moment where we're seeing lots of new instructions. We do a lot of inquest work as well, social care related inquest work, including Article 2 inquests. So very varied. We've been involved in lots of group CSE actions, which have been well reported on in the media. So yes, that is very complex and challenging what we do, but keeps us on our toes.
Yeah, that's cool. And Natalie, last but not least.
Same as Louise, I'm a senior associate in the social care and abuse team. I've been at Forbes for 10 years now and been qualified as solicitor for 20 years. I took the traditional route. I did my law degree at Liverpool, and then I did the College of Law at Chester.
Same as me, exactly the same route.
I'm from Liverpool Uni.
Liverpool Uni, we grew up in there at the same time, yeah.
So the legal practice course was nice little village, isn't it, in Chester? And
Oh,
Bristol.
beautiful, really nice.
But I ended up travelling. I stayed there for a while, but then I wasn't in as often as you think, so I thought it was only like 40 minutes away, so it wasn't too bad. But I do similar work to Louise. It's constantly evolving, this type of area that we're doing, so we're diversifying into different areas, as Louise said, such as human rights, failure to remove, vicarious liability cases. They're all really interesting cases, and even though they're all coming on similar headings, they're all different, you know what I mean? So it always never stays the same. It's we always found it interesting. There's always new things we're learning, and we're always having like team meetings to discuss the new things, and how to approach the cases, because we do have similar clients. So it is quite enjoyable, isn't it?
Oh yes, very much so. Very much.
I mean, it is. It's an really interesting sort of niche area of law, isn't it? And
it is very niche, yeah, and case law is always evolving, so just when you think, actually, the law says this, there's then another case handed down from the High Court or the Supreme Court which actually says something different and causes us to reevaluate those cases and strategies all over
I think
again.
it's very, very different to what I do in that the file volumes, you tend to have fewer but much bigger cases,
Yes.
whereas I have the more
yeah.
high volume,
Yes.
quick turnover cases.
Exactly. There's
so
a good
it's
balance across the insurance departments, I
Yeah.
think.
Totally, because my work kind of feeds in with your guys' work a lot of the time. We call it, we've kind of branded it as a legacy,
Yes.
a legacy kind of department in a way. Because it's same, it's very document heavy.
Yeah.
There might be niche points to kind of argue in different bits and bobs. So what do you guys see as being the future for the social care team and the types of claims you're going to see as the alarm is this kind of the future and times are changing?
Yeah, I think cases that were previously pursued under the common law negligence heading, if you like, that's very much changing now, and cases are being pursued slightly differently by claimant solicitors. They're being sort of redrafted as human rights cases when maybe they wouldn't have been in the past. So Article 3 inhumane and degrading treatments being alleged now, rather than the standard breach of duty allegations. So we're having to look at cases much more differently now. And then of course technology's evolving as well. AI is very much in the news at the moment, so that we may be able to use that AI in the future to sort of streamline how we assess social care records, for example.
Yeah.
But that's all very much in the future, and how that looks, how that will look, remains to be
I know,
seen.
because it's such a strange thing, because everybody says, I went to a conference last week and a lot of it was about AI, but the conclusion of it was we don't really know. I mean, it's this massive beast that's coming, but actually what will it do? And I think probably a lot of people were saying from the insurer world that actually it'll be really helpful in terms of collecting data and being able to reserve and thinking what kind of spend you'll have on cases, and really you could put something into AI that I want all this data for this certain type of case, what's our case spend on it, and that's quite interesting. I know there's a lot of fear around what else can happen with it, and it's probably not easy.
I think also there's the aspect of how our clients will utilise AI. It's not just about the claims. So in highways cases, for example, I don't think we're a million miles off having AI carrying out highways inspections. Or analysing trends in terms of repairs, or that kind of thing. So I think it's going to have a massive impact. But I think it's important to embrace change.
It is, I
think, not be fearful of it.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I think, because I was saying to somebody last week as well, I think that we got delayed on a flight the other week coming back, and there was a compensation scheme online to do it, and I'm pretty sure it was AI that was running it, because all you did was put your flight number in, and it went, yes, your flight was 6 hours late, you are getting this amount of compensation. And for very low level things like that, I think it's already on the go. I think it's already going, but that then kind of helps, because that then frees us up to do the more niche kind of thing and look at test cases and what's going on, and how we can advise our clients as well, I think.
So rather than being afraid of AI, like you say, maybe we should embrace it and actually make it work for us to...
Totally, work smarter.
Work smarter, yes, yeah. And sort of, it may even help in terms of the training that we deliver to clients and help us, when new case law is handed down, help us report to them on that.
Yeah, and disseminate the information quicker. Yeah,
in a more streamlined way.
Maybe there could be an AI version of me.
Now, after all this time resisting it, you're finally on there. That is the future.
The first and last. Next time it'll be a robotic version or a hologram.
There's no hologram that can replace you, Sid, in the world. In the world. So, what do you think is the future for your types of cases?
Thinking about housing, I think we're at the kind of the peak at the moment. We've had a tough few years with our Ishak's case, Grenfell Tower, and there's been a lot of media focus on the bad side of housing associations, and we're really at the kind of the peak of the housing conditions claims at the moment. I'd love to sit here and say the end is in sight, and that we've got an end date for fixed costs and that kind of thing, but we haven't yet. I think it's penciled in for October 25, I think, but that can change still. So
well, it can totally change. I remember when I qualified in 2006, I started doing asbestos work, and they said, claims for mesothelioma, they'll be done in like 6 or 7 years because asbestos got banned in sort of the early 1990s. That'll be it, it's peaked, it's gone. We're here in 2024, I'm considerably older, still cracking on, nearly 20 years qualified, and there's no end in sight with that as well, and it's still going. And I think the big future thing at the moment that a lot of clients are interested in, particularly from the local authority side in my type of work, is asbestos in public buildings and the impact that's going to have on their public liability insurance, where quite often there's asbestos exclusions, and we're looking at clients with sort of putting away reserves for anything that might come in, because obviously we've got pupils at schools or people visiting other public buildings that is potentially quite a big...
Yeah, there's health and safety issues.
There's quite a lot of health and safety issues, and you'll see something in the press kind of every week on that. And the
hospitals as well.
Hospitals is another big one. So the Sunday Times have been running lots of campaigns on it, and I'm pretty sure after the general election there'll be a lot of, because obviously that's coming up as well, the future, and how that will impact all of our work and what will happen. And of course COVID claims that I've been chatting about for ages keeps getting bumped down the road, and that may eventually come in as well. So it's all interesting.
It is, yes, lots to come, I think.
Really, loads to come, absolutely loads to come. But it's interesting, isn't it, how the case law does develop, and how, particularly for you guys, it seems to be you have a new case out every couple of months, something like that, when I talk to you all.
Particularly the past couple of years, started really with CN and Poole, didn't it? And then HXA, YXA, AB and Worcestershire. I won't bore everybody with all the details. But yes, there's always something. There's always, just when we think we've got our strategies in order, and then another case is handed down from the Supreme Court that makes us reassess and reevaluate all our files.
That keeps it interesting.
It does.
That's why you become a lawyer to
it does.
Absolutely.
No 2 days are the same. That's how it is for all of us, isn't it, really? There's always something different to challenge us and make us think.
Because there's a period of a few years, wasn't there, where everything was pretty much the same, and it was mainly like failure to remove, negligence cases, and then after that, CN and Poole just was constantly changing from there, wasn't it?
And the nature of instructions changes off the back of that, as I was saying. So it's yes.
So how did you both get into this type of work? Because it's quite an emotionally heavy type of work sometimes, isn't it?
It is. I come from a claimant PI background, so for probably the first 6-7 years of my career, I worked in the claimant PI field. And decided I wanted to do something a bit more niche and, sort of expand my skill set a little bit. And the position came up here, and I thought, I don't have any defendant insurance experience. Anyway, Forbes gave me that opportunity, and there was a role within the social care team. And I thought, that sounds really interesting. I love to read, so the fact that it's very document heavy didn't faze me. And I just thought, yeah, it's interesting, and it's actually, it's worth. I feel it's, you know, it's worthwhile. You know, you're really assisting. Yeah, it's
You feel like making a difference.
making a difference.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, so and I haven't looked back since.
Good stuff.
I was at a lot of other defendant firms. At the early start of my career, I did claimant work for 3 years, and then after that I went to other big defendant firms. But I was doing more insurance fraud, so I wasn't doing this type of work. And then I saw this opportunity as well at Forbes, and I thought it was closer to home as well, because I was travelling to Liverpool at the time, so it was quite far for me. And I thought that sounded interesting as well. So it was in the complex claims team and social services. And same, I mean, I had obviously the defendant background, so I was used to a lot of the things, you know, that they needed. But I really enjoy it myself. And I know the cases, they do go on for a while, but I know obviously it is emotionally heavy at times, but I try and look at it as you're trying to provide the claimant with some closure and make a decision on the case, and hopefully that will, you know, assist them in their recovery as well. So that's how I look at it, because you can't change what's happened, you know what I mean?
No.
So you just think you will give them a decision either way, one way or another, which will hopefully help them.
Yeah, same with my kind of work as well. It's kind of checks and I provide the checks and balances in a way, and try and resolve it as quickly as I possibly can for that person. Once I've got all the evidence, obviously, and then just kind of go through it and then just try and get the best result for everybody. I think probably is the thing,
about
isn't it?
achieving, as you say, the best result in what is a very difficult and terrible situation in most cases. Doing the best that you can, really, to see, you know, to give some closure to the matter.
Absolutely. And you guys have a wealth of experience in your team as well.
Oh, yes,
to look to, haven't you? You've got some big hitters, haven't you, in the social services team?
Very, very much so. Which is, yes, that's big shoes to fill.
I mean, we've had 2 of them on the podcast. Keller's done one, and John Miles has done a legendary one as well.
Yeah, we're very lucky, aren't we?
Yes, definitely.
That we get to learn from them. They can provide, you know, a lot of help and expertise to us. And they're always like there at the end of a phone call, or we can have meetings with them, so you know, to discuss any aspects where, you know, we just need a bit more help on, or we've not come across before. But
and talking about how when things become quite heavy, it's quite emotional work. John Miles is the person that
he's great.
Keeps morale high when things can get a bit depressing, maybe, or if people are a bit down on what they're reading, and John Miles is the person that can lift
really
us all again and puts everything into perspective. Yes,
Oh, he's good, isn't he?
He's
and
great.
Obviously, Sid, you've worked with the also legendary Siobhan Hardy for a very long time.
Siobhan interviewed me for my first job as trainee junior secretary. I think I started at Forbes.
That's a long job title.
It is,
a long job title, and that really.
I wasn't even junior secretary. I was a
trainee junior secretary. So that's.
And she still tells me now I was the worst secretary she'd ever had, which I dispute. But I was so interested in the cases. So when I was doing the old kind of dictation typing, I was too busy listening to the and, you know, and kind of listening to what was happening. I wasn't just, you know, blindly typing. And so, she used to say that I was a terrible secretary. But
I've obviously made a brilliant lawyer, so that's, you know.
Yeah, and that's how, so I rose through the ranks with Siobhan and some other, Tim Smith, obviously, I've grown up with. Ridwan, I used to work with in the Leeds office when Ridwan came over to the right side of the Pennines. So I've known all the insurance guys for 20 years, so long time.
Excellent. And how do you guys find working at Forbes? What do you think makes it different to the other law firms you've worked at?
It's finding solutions rather than issues. I think is the key. We have a different approach, so clients can come to us at any point in the proceedings, and if they become stuck, if they need some help, if they need some assistance, it doesn't matter whether if they're halfway through a trial or an inquest, or proceedings have already been issued, or it's pre-litigation. We we're happy to pick up wherever they need us to.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're a friendly firm. You're not always approachable, and I think that's what clients like about us. And we're always available, always willing to take their phone calls we're never too busy for them. We end up building really good relationships with them and enhance, the relationships that we have with new clients. We always try, or all of them, we always try and give them the best service that we can.
Yeah.
I think they always appreciate being able to contact us, and because sometimes that's not always the case in some firms. So I think they like us too, and we're friendly to all of them.
Clients actually have access to our direct dials, our work mobiles, so when they contact us, they generally put straight through to the person actually dealing with their file.
Yes, and there's consistency as well, isn't there, in that?
Yes, we're not expecting them to go through 10 different people before they get to the person that they actually want to speak to.
I think that's evidenced by the longevity of, many of the staff here, certainly in the insurance department. Let's say 20 years, and I know a lot of the other partners are 30 years, and everyone's, you've been here how many years?
2.5. Well, no, because I had a baby. Well, not quite a baby anymore, but when I first joined, we went out for a dinner that was for Siobhan and Ridwan's 30-year anniversary. No, let me get this right. Siobhan and Andrew Ellis's 30-year anniversary and Ridwan's 25-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh, how long have you been here?" I was like, 6 weeks. And I think the next shortest length of service was 17 years at that point.
But the same with the clients. So the clients that I work for, myself or Forbes, have worked for those clients for decades, and so we must be doing something right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think it is a really lovely. I mean, having come to work in a different office today for the day, and it's just lovely to see all the people from different departments and really gel and just have a nice chat. And there's been biscuits. I've been happy with that. So it's all working out really well. And so outside of work, let's get to know you all a bit. What do you like to do outside of work? What keeps you
being in an office
relaxed?
So much. I love walking. I love being out in the fresh air. I love walking through the hills, looking at nature, the animals, and it's just yoga. I love to do yoga as well.
I love concerts.
Yes, I do like concerts.
What was the last concert you went to then, Louise?
Bruce Springsteen in
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not as good as Barcelona last year in the sunshine, but this year, it was still fab, even though we got absolutely soaked because, of course, it hasn't stopped raining all year. But it was fantastic. Yeah, really good.
Yeah,
that's how I switch off.
Similar to Louise, I've got 2 dogs and 2 daughters, so we do a lot of walking as well.
Oh, they all need wearing out, all 4 of them, I imagine.
So similar, and I love reading, listening to music. I've not been to any concerts recently, but I also like Bruce Springsteen. So similar in that respect, like watching certain programs and things like that. So.
That sounds good.
What about you, Sid?
So I'm a mum as well, so I have to say there's not a huge amount of spare time between work and being a mum.
And now podcasting.
So my social media career is on the up, and avoiding Nicola Dawn.
I know, but you can't. I mean, you booked to Des today, and then who popped up opposite you?
No, it's all good. And just spending time with my family. Lots of outside time. I was trying to wear Oliver out, so that's pretty much the aim of free time.
Oh, although it's been so rainy, my little dogs at the weekend, tried to get them out, and one of them, I couldn't find it. I was just walking along, I'd got a podcast on, walking along, Dolly the sausage dog was next to me, turned around and Betty was just not there, and I thought, oh my gosh. So walked backwards, and she just sat down, just refused to move. So it was only like 2 minutes, and I went back round the corner, and she just sat there waiting for me. So to go, I'm done. No, thank you. I'll be going home now. Thank you very much.
This is enough now.
This is enough now. Thank you. So that's to give up. But it's good to get out and about and relax, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
And you will all, I think, be at Alarm possibly at some point over the course of the
Blinking
2 days.
You might miss us, but yes.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be plenty of on the stand. I think we're on stand 17. I'm looking at Melissa and Marketing the corner. Yes, we are stand 17 again. So we've got plenty of giveaways. There's lots of us to chat to.
We'll look a bit different this year.
We will look very different this year because we've got the rebrand. I'll flash this for the video that one goes up. So we will. So there will have lots of established faces that a lot of our clients will know, and also we've hopefully got some newer faces kind of popping up that we've had a bit of a chance to introduce you to today. So thank you all for coming on. It's been really great.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's been lovely. So thank you very much, and we'll look forward to seeing lots of people next week at Alarm.